Hi yogis, thank you for joining me. I hope you're doing well at home, and today we're going to go through a regular standard chair practice. I'm going to offer some variations for each pose, and you can choose to do whichever style of each asana you would like. We'll do some pranayama or breath work, and then at the end we'll allow you to take your shavasana on your own time. So don't skip that very important step. We'll get there together at the end, and then I'll leave you to rest in peace. So let's go forward. We'll start our centering today. And when we center, we just ground through our feet, relax these shoulders down, lean against the back of the chair. Allow your arm to hang straight down from the elbow, or shoulder rather. Relax and close the eyes. Dropping into the breath and noticing, where is the breath in my chest? How does the breath feel in my throat? What is the speed of my breath? Is it fast or slow? And again, we're just noticing, not changing the breath at all. We'll begin drawing the breath deeper into the belly, expanding the belly on the inhale, and relaxing the belly on the exhale. Full deep breaths. I invite you to start pushing that breath into the side ribs, into your back, into the back of the chair. Really expanding the lungs in all directions. Anytime your attention is drawn away by thoughts or sounds, simply return to the breath, breathing in and breathing out. As we begin deepening our breath, we can scan our bodies. I like to start at my toes and slowly move up the body, just noticing areas of tension or spaciousness, areas you might be gripping, or areas you feel deeply relaxed. We're just gathering information, noticing what our body has to tell us. And as you come all the way up the body through the top of the head, on your next inhale, you can flutter open the eyes. And we'll move on to our pranayama or breathwork practice. Today, we're going to do a form of breathwork called Nadi Shodhana or alternate nostril breathing. I love to do this practice for my sinuses, for rebalancing my energies. I encourage you, if you know another breathwork practice you would like to do, to substitute that, particularly one that brings the breath deep into the lungs and expands the lungs completely. So focus on that as we're breathing, drawing the lungs into the side ribs and back. To start with Nadi Shodhana, I like to make that live long and prosper symbol from Star Trek. If you remember, bring the pointer finger and middle finger to this fleshy part of the thumb. You have a little caliper here. You'll rest that on either side of your nostril using a gentle pressure as I direct your breathing. And at any point, if you feel breathless or agitated, you can release the practice for a few rounds and then join back in. So we'll take a regular breath, breathing in and breathing out. And then in through the left, out right, in right, out left, in 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 left, out right, in right, out left. Last round, in left, out right, in right, out left. And you can release your hand to your lap, taking a couple deep rounds of breath and noticing any changes in your breathing from when we started our centering. If you'd like to practice any other forms of breath work, just remember that extending our exhale is calming and extending the inhale is stimulating. From here, we'll start into our asana, a little bit of movement practice, starting with our neck. We'll go ahead and drop our chin to our chest, allowing the head to hang heavy for a few moments, waking those muscles up. And on your next exhale, slowly rolling the right ear toward the right shoulder. Allow that head to drop back just enough to stretch these front neck muscles. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left ear toward left shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, right ear to right shoulder. And then go ahead and hold here, right ear over right shoulder, and we'll extend that left arm straight out to the side, about a foot away from the thigh. Checking that both of our shoulders stay nice and relaxed, and noticing the difference in sensation. Go ahead and bring the hand back to your lap. On your next inhale, roll that chin back toward the chest. Exhaling, left ear toward left shoulder. Again, bringing the left ear right over the left shoulder and extending the right hand about a foot away from the thigh again. Checking in with those shoulders. They like to sneak up toward the ears. And you can bring that hand back to the lap, roll the chin back toward the chest, and lift the head in place. From here, we'll turn our head about a 45-degree angle to the right, and then slowly lower our nose toward our armpit. Then taking our right hand, placing it gently on the back of the head. No pulling, we're just using the weight of the hand to intensify the stretch. Go ahead and release that hand back to the lap, lift the head in place and slowly come back to center. And then about 45-degree angle to the left, lowering the nose again toward the armpit, pausing for a moment. Then the left hand comes to the back of the head. Again, no pulling. Take a moment to notice, where does sensation begin and end in the body? Go ahead and bring the hand back to the lap, lift the head in place, and slowly turn back to center. And we'll end just on turning the neck to the side. Again, moving on our exhale, exhaling, turning the head to the right. We want to find about 70% of our range of movement. We're not forcing ourselves to turn as hard and far as we can. Be gentle with the self. Inhale back to center and exhaling to the left. Inhale back to center. Notice when you turn your head, again, where does sensation begin and end in the body? Inhale back to center. You can notice which side do you feel different or more intense sensation. We're all gathering information. And then go ahead and inhale back to center. Now that we've warmed up our neck, we'll move into our cat-cow. So you'll want to scoot just a little bit away from the back of the chair to allow some freedom of movement. And again, here, I'll offer you our standard cat-cow and then a couple arm variations. So you can pick whichever one you would like to do for the entire cat-cow sequence. You can use each one in each sequence and have a different arm for every repetition. It's up to you. This is your practice. So beginning, we will keep our hands on top of our thighs and inhale, tilting and rolling that pelvis forward, nice soft belly, and then growing long through the front of the body. Draw those shoulder blades toward each other. And then exhaling, roll that pelvis back, drop the chin to chest, and pull the shoulder blades around the sides of the body. Again, inhaling and rolling forward, growing nice and long in the front body. And exhaling, rolling down, pull those shoulder blades around, engage the abdomen. Now we'll add in some different arms. As we inhale, we'll simply draw our arms back, nice and open, opening the chest. Exhaling, you can pull them in any way that you wish. Inhale, open, and exhale, close. Our last arm variation, we'll inhale, arms straight up toward the ceiling. We're still rolling our pelvis back, or rather forward. And then as we exhale, we pull the elbows down into goalpost position, roll the pelvis, inhale and reach, exhale and close. Squeeze those shoulder blades. And go ahead and inhale back up to neutral spine. From here, we'll stretch our side body, inhaling and reaching toward the ceiling, extending between the rib and the top of the hip. Then as we exhale, right arm floats down. You can grab the bottom of the chair. Left arm arches over. We're keeping that left sit bone anchored into the seat. If this extension of the arm is too much, you can go ahead and bring your hand to the top of your shoulder. Breathing deep into that left lung, Drive the breath here. Think about each rib separating and expanding fully. One last deep inhale into the left lung. And then exhale, float that left arm down. Take a breath here. Notice the difference from side to side. If there is one, there might not be, and that's fine too. We're just learning to notice. On your next inhale, again, reaching both arms up, almost as if a string were pulling you through the top of your head. Then exhale, left hand goes down to the bottom of the chair, right arm arches over. We're anchoring down through our right sit bone, driving the breath into the right ribs, and also trying to push that armpit forward. We don't want to roll our shoulders forward like this. We want to try to keep that armpit nice and open. One last deep inhale into the right lung. And exhaling, float that arm down. Taking a breath again. And noticing side to side, different sensations we feel in our body. From here, we're going to go ahead and do some leg lifts. So I invite you to do these simply as high as you feel comfortable doing them. There's no right or wrong way. We'll go ahead and extend our right leg out straight. First, we'll stretch the back of the leg just a little bit. Left leg stays anchored to the floor, and then we hinge at the hips, so no rounding in the back. We're keeping our back pretty flat. The right foot needs to stay flexed, and then we bring the chest toward the tops of our thighs. We should feel a stretch in the belly of the muscle, not at the back of the knee or where the hamstring connects to the pelvis. We want to feel it right in the middle of the calf or in the middle of the hamstring. Go ahead and inhale, coming back up to neutral spine. Then as we exhale, we'll lift that leg. We're lifting on the exhale, so we engage our core to protect our low back. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. You can add in some variation. You can twist your leg at the hip. You can swing your leg out to the side and back to center. Play around with what feels good in your body. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And then you can bring that right foot back in to match the left. From here, we'll go to the left side. So first we're going to stretch. Again, we're keeping the foot flexed and hinging at the hip. I feel the stretch in the belly of my hamstring or the belly of the calf. Go ahead and inhale back up to neutral spine. Exhaling again, we're lifting just as high as comfortable for your body. Inhale as you lower. Exhale as you lift. Check that your abdomen is engaged. And here's where we can change things up if we like. We can turn our hip at the, or turn our foot at the hip. You can swing the leg out wide, come back to center. You can even use a strap to catch your foot if that helps you and have a little bit of an extended time that you're lifting. Go ahead and inhale to lower, exhale to lift, inhale to lower, and then bring that foot back to match the right. From here, we're going to stand up behind our chair. And you can use any kind of chair for a chair practice. You can even use your countertop to assist you. We'll go ahead and place our hands on either side of the back of the chair. And we're going to keep our hands active. That means we're going to actively push into that back of the chair. As we slowly walk backwards, you can push the chair forward also into our standing down dog. Standing Adho Mukha Svanasana for some Sanskrit for you. The goal here is to keep our hands pushing into the back of the chair to prevent us from hanging in our elbow joints. And we're going to slowly lower our mid-back toward the floor. Weight is in the heels. Knees are softly bent, no locking the knees. And again, we're going to drive the breath into the side ribs and back body. Nice deep breaths here. And don't worry about how low down you can go. That's really decided for you by the flexibility of the shoulder joint, which can be changed with time. So just go as low as you feel comfortable. Honor what your body tells you. From here, we're going to straighten that left leg, again, not locking the knee, and go ahead and bend the right knee. Then straighten that right leg and bend the left knee. Straighten the left leg, and before we come out of our down dog, we'll do a little puppy wiggle. So wiggling the hips toward the shoulders. One last deep inhale into the back ribs. And exhaling, slowly walking back towards your chair, holding on here for a moment and taking a breath. Notice the sensation that a little inversion has brought about in the body. You might feel some tingling, some hot and cool spots. Again, we're all just noticing. From here, we will take our chair to the side. Hand can stay resting on the back of the chair for some balance. And we'll do our, or my favorite, tree pose. You can pop that right foot out to the side. Check in with the pelvis. We're using our sense of interoception. That's sensing what's going on inside the body. Proprioception is sensing where our body is in space. But we want to know, is our pelvis level? So we have to feel in the body and notice, is my pelvis level? And try to keep that pelvis level as we go into tree pose. You can bring the heel to the ankle for a little kickstand tree pose. This might be where your pose is today. Again, checking in with the pelvis. People might pop out that left hip or hike up the right hip. So we've got to find, where is my pelvis in neutral? Find your focal point on the floor, drishti point. Usually the closer it is to you on the floor, the easier your balance is, and the closer to the horizon, the more difficult it can be. So from here, with a nice level pelvis and our drishti point, we'll go ahead and lift the foot to the calf. We're gonna push the foot into the leg and push the leg into the foot. I know that sounds unusual, but when you're standing in this way, it really helps strengthen your base. Don't be afraid of a little wiggle. We want to wake up that foot that's been sleeping in our winter shoes. And then when you feel nice and steady, you can grow the limbs of your tree, which might be one limb or both. You find what's best for you. Nothing like doing a balance pose on camera. Hold here. Allow that balance to work. Notice in your body what is happening. And then as you feel ready, you can bring your limbs back down, lower that right foot, march it out a little bit. You might have some fatigue on the outer edge of your standing leg. Then we'll change the chair to the other side, outside the right hip. Again, checking in with our Tadasana, our mountain pose. Then popping the left foot out to the side, checking that pelvis. Bring that up to kickstand so the heel is on your ankle. Find the pelvis again. Notice if your hips have hiked or popped. And then find your drishti or focal point. Then from here, we'll go ahead and lift the foot to the calf. Pushing the foot into the leg and the leg into the foot. As you feel ready, you can grow one or both of your limbs. Allow the wiggle. My teacher used to tell me, if you're gonna fall in tree pose, fall up. And I did not understand what that meant. But if you do have a big wobble and you reach higher and extend through your branches, you might find your balance. Let that foot wiggle. And then go ahead and bring those branches back down. Lower the left foot. And again, march it out just a little bit, shaking the legs. From here, we'll bring our chair back to our center. And the next pose, I'll encourage you to do 3 of these minimum. In my class, usually I ask our participants to name a number between 1 and 10. They're wise to that though, so they're picking lower numbers. I might have to change my strategy. We're going to do chair pose. So as we go to lower into our seat, we're going to hold ourselves just above the seat as low as you can go. Again, feeling comfortable. If this hurts your knees, make sure your legs are nice and tightly together. Otherwise, you can keep your feet about hip distance apart. Make sure that chair stays behind you. We'll inhale, arms straight up. Then as we exhale, you come slowly down as if you're going to sit and hold. Breathe freely and effortlessly. Weight is in the heels here. Inhale up to standing. Reset yourself. Inhale, arms up. Again, exhaling down. If these arms are too intense, you can lower them to being straight in front of you. You can even lower them behind you if you're nervous about the chair. Go ahead and inhale up to standing again. Take a breath. On our last one, I'd like to ask you to hold it for as long as you can. Now, just when you think you've held it as long as you can probably hold it for 2 more breaths. But that's up to you. You have to honor your own body in your practice. So again, we'll inhale, arms straight up. Exhale as if we're going to come to seated. Weight is in the heels. Holding. Then we'll go ahead and reach behind us. Make sure that yoga fairy did not move your chair, and then slowly lower into the chair. Challenge yourself not to just fall backwards. And then we rest. Take a few rounds of breath here. Allow your heart rate to return to normal. Feel the heartbeat in the body. Notice what other sensations may have arrived or changed from when we started our centering. From here, we'll move into some hand and foot work. So hands and feet are often overlooked in our exercise program, but we use them both every day. So they're just as important as moving these bigger muscles like we do in chair pose. So to start, we'll slowly do some shoulder circles. Strength and endurance are in the slowness, just noticing what you can feel. Using those back muscles when you draw the shoulder blades back and together. Imagine someone drops some ice down the back of your shirt, right? Maybe an older sibling. Pause when those shoulders are down and begin going the other direction. Noticing if your mind has any resistance. Does it have a preferred way of moving? And why is that? Just gathering information. One more big circle here. Then we'll allow our shoulders to stay nice and relaxed. Have these hands hang straight down next to us. And we're going to do a hand movement I like to call the Charleston. So if you can see my hands, on an inhale, we'll flex our wrist and spread those fingers nice and wide. Then as we exhale, joint by joint, curl those fingers into a fist and then pull the wrist back, stretching the forearm. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. One more, inhale, open. Exhale, close. Hold those hands back. Give those forearms a good stretch. If you do a lot of typing, this probably feels wonderful. And then go ahead and release. We want to wiggle the fingers, never shake and flick those fingers, just wiggling them, waking them up. Do a couple wrist circles. Pause and go the other direction. Then we'll move into stretching the fingers. So we can extend that right hand straight out. We'll stretch the thumb. You want to brace the whole finger, so we're not just pulling on the tip of the finger. Brace those joints. Now our index finger or pointer finger, middle finger. Check in and see if your right shoulder is relaxed. Our ring finger, pinky finger, all 4 fingers at once. Is the thumb a finger? Grab that thumb in as well. And then go ahead and stretch down. And then relax the arms down for just a moment. Now we'll go ahead to the left hand. Again, bracing the joints, starting at the thumb. Index finger. Middle finger. You can try to see where does sensation begin and end in these stretches as well. Can I feel it in my hand, my palm, my forearm? Ring finger and pinky finger. Check that that left shoulder is relaxed and we haven't started hiking it up to the ear. Go ahead and grab all 4 fingers. The thumb. Flip that wrist down, stretching that forearm again. And wiggling the fingers as we release. I like to do a couple arm circles. I like to do arm circles that are a little bit different. So you can do your standard gym arm circles. We all remember doing this in PE class, but I like to do just a little bit lower, about a 45-degree angle, and imagine that my hands are shoved into a bucket full of sand or rice, whichever you prefer, and we're stirring that sand and rice, which is quite difficult. So we're using some isometrics here, and what you want to feel is this muscle under the armpit, our serratus anterior, firing and turning on. So we're really pushing and pulling as we stir those buckets of sand. When your arms are down, pause and go the other direction, nice and strong. We're pushing and pulling. One more circle. And then again, relax the arms to hang straight down, and we'll do some big arm circles. Imagine we're doing the back strokes. So swinging all the way up. You can inhale on the lift up and exhale on the descend. Nice big circles. When the arms are down, pause and go the other direction. Again, noticing if your brain has a preference. And why is that, do you think? One more big circle. Let the arms hang for a moment. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. And we'll move on to our feet. So we'll bring our right ankle to the top of our left leg. And if this is too intense for you, you can extend that left leg and cross lower. So as we're sitting here, we're sitting tall to a nice neutral spine. If you have any sensation in your knee while you're doing this, you want to lift the knee higher. If you don't, we're looking to have sensation in the hip, then you can go ahead and slowly, hinging at the hips, bring the chest toward the shin. Find where you've hit a deep sensation, not pain. Know the difference between discomfort or sensation and pain. And that's different from person to person. See how low after your body relaxes your chest can go. Go ahead and inhale up to neutral. We'll do a little bit of ankle circles, nice and slow. People like to do really quick ankle circles. Notice how your foot is skipping and jumping. It's just those neural pathways that need a little bit of more work here. A little weed whacking. We got to wake up the neural pathways. Pause and go the other direction. Don't mind any cracking or popping unless it's accompanied with acute pain. It's just a normal part of being in this human body. One more circle, then we'll flex. When you flex the foot, try to draw the toes back and point, pointing the toes and the foot. Flex and point. Flex and point. One more. Relax that foot. You can give it some squeezes, moving that lymph fluid from the tips of the toes up the ankle a little bit here. Feels good. We need to treat ourselves well, right? From here, we'll allow this leg to slide over so our legs are crossed. Again, if this is too intense, you can cross at the ankle. We're going to twist from here. So we'll inhale to tall neutral spine, again imagining that string pulling us up from the ceiling. And then as we exhale, we'll twist toward the right using only the strength of our torso. So don't grab onto the leg and wrench your body. You want to use your strength to see how far you can turn, then place that left hand on the right knee, and the right hand can grab the bottom of the chair or rest on the back of the chair, whatever feels best in your body. Key to a good twist is you should be able to breathe effortlessly. If you find that your breathing is restricted, you're too deep in the twist, so you'll want to back out just a little bit. Twisting feels good, so we often over twist. One last inhale, and then exhale, come back to center, then uncross the legs. And again, just like when we did our lateral stretches at the beginning of our practice, we check in with the body and see the difference in sensation from side to side. We'll never be perfectly symmetrical. We shouldn't even try to be, but it is good to notice what's going on in my body and how do different movements feel. From here, we'll go to the left leg. So left ankle comes to the top of the right leg. And again, if we feel no sensation in the knee, we can bring our chest toward our shin. Hinging at the hips, so that means no rounding in the spine. We're going to try and keep the back flat. Each side of the body is different. Each hip is different, so you may be able to move more or less. Every pose, you have to explore what is going on in that moment with your body. Go ahead and inhale all the way up to neutral spine, and we'll start on some ankle circles. Nice and slow again. We want to notice, is our foot skipping and jumping, or is it a smooth and fluid movement? Nothing is bad or good, we're just noticing. Pause and go the other direction. One more circle here, and then we'll flex, again drawing those toes back when we flex, and point, flex, and point. Flex and point. One more, flex and point. Then relax the foot, give it 3 good squeezes up the foot into the ankle, move that lymph fluid. And then from here, allow the leg to slide over so you have a crossed leg. Inhale to tall neutral spine. Then as we exhale, using the strength of our torso, we twist to the left. Then the right hand goes to the left knee, and the left hand can grab the bottom of the chair or the back of the chair. Doesn't have to be the same from side to side. Each side of your body is different, so honor what your body needs in the pose in that moment. Checking in that our breath is smooth and effortless. One last deep inhale here. Exhaling slowly, untwist, then uncross the leg. Take a breath here again and notice what is going on inside your body. How has sensation changed? And our last pose before I let you go into Shavasana or resting pose is simply a forward fold. So you can scoot toward the edge of your chair. We do this because it's a great release for the low back. It helps elongate the spine. It's good to get the heart below the waist in a little bit of an inversion. You just want to go as deep as you can and feel comfortable doing. Hands can stay on the knees or they can go to the floor. Whatever feels good in your body is what you need to do. I like to bring my legs nice and wide so that my body has space to go between my legs. We inhale to tall neutral spine. Then as we begin exhaling again, we're hinging at the hips. So we're not rounding in the back. We're keeping a flat back, bending forward. When you get as deep as you can, hands can come to the floor. We're pushing into the heel of the foot, and then relax and release the head, hanging for just about 5 breaths. On your next inhale, hands come to the knees, back to the knees, if they were on the floor, and then exhaling, coming all the way back up to seated. And from here, I will leave you with a namaste. Please do not skip your Shavasana and your resting pose. It's where we integrate all of the energies that we have built up here. And I hope that you have a happy and healthy rest of your day. Thank you.